All right, welcome to Feisty Chess. We've got white against Kalyan Sirin on lead chess. So let's play e4. Here's e5. Let's see what he plays after knight f3. Let's do the Italian game. Okay. Now, I'm still learning this, but I want to go for the Evans Gambit. So the idea here is to draw the bishop off. He's going back to a5. Okay. I think I want to castle first, and then d4 is coming. I think we play d4 anyway here. Is that right? Okay. All right, what are the options here? Taking on e5 would be thematic. And then maybe bishop a3. There's queen b3 ideas. Knight g5, he just castles. There's always bishop f7 to look at. So let's look at bishop f7. Yeah, I'm not seeing much. d5. d5 actually puts that knight, puts a space crunch on black. Probably knight to e7. There's bishop g5. Should know this. I will learn more about the Evans Gambit after this. I'm going to get a new piece out, however. I'm going to go ahead and play bishop here. Okay. If I drop back, he kicks me. I drop back. Got a lot of pressure on e5 then. Let's just let's make black really break that pin. I didn't want to trade off yet. That would remove the pressure on e4, but that helps black develop. Gives him the bishop pair. I don't really like the look of black's queen on f6. Okay. Now I like the look of d5. And if knight d7, then bishop takes f6 looks... Knight e7, then bishop takes f6 looks pretty good. Could go back to b8. That's probably a better move. But it looks very counterintuitive. Okay, he's going for this. Now, Yeah, I really like the look of cracking open this king side, and then I've got knight knight h4 with the idea of maybe f4 and getting my rook into the game. I'm not sacrificing any extra material unless you count the bishop pair. So let's go for this. He could push f5, but my main idea is to go queen h5 here. Yeah, let's go for queen h5 right now. This is annoying. How to get that pawn free? This looks good. This is opening some lines. Knight check here. He's got to take it. And then I take with an attack on his knight. I also have f4. Knight f5, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight f4. And I've got to check if I want it. He gets knight f4 in, but he's really pretty shut down. Well, hold on, I also have queen takes here. Is that maybe better? Then he can threaten to trade. Pawn takes seems to get another piece, so to speak, into the attack. So I'm expecting knight here, in which case I'll probably play queen h4. Keeping a check in reserve. I'm actually planning to trap the knight with g3. That would trap the knight. Pardon my phone there. Okay. Giving back a pawn. Maybe I just play g3, give another pawn. Let's look at that. g3, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. There's no need to give that pawn. Gotta get my rooks into this game. I think that means giving up this pawn. I'd like for my knight to be on g4, but all right. I was looking at knight e2 here, but knight d2. I can just play rook here. He doesn't have a way of defending that pawn. He can counterattack with piece to c8, queen c7 maybe. Yeah. All right, I'll happily go for this. He needs to take with the bishop, and I'll trade off my useless knight here. Get my rooks doubled. I should be getting that pawn back, and meanwhile my king seems a lot safer. So here we go. I think I want to double on that d pawn. He can't save it. He could maybe counterattack. But when I grab the d pawn, I'm also hitting f6. Key point. My king has an escape square on g2. I think it was black's advantage not to take that pawn and free my queenside. But the material was too tempting. Yeah, I don't see how he saves d6 or f6 for that matter. Okay, I'm happy with this. This is my inaugural Evans Gambit game. Once f6 goes, there's h6 to worry about. Okay, he can save that with queen e7, I suppose. But then, what about rook e7? I'm really kicking the queen around, right? Why not? Where's the queen go? The queen has to go back here, and then, yeah, now rook here. And he doesn't have... I'm going to keep this rook on the back rank. Although it might have been better to play the other rook up. I just didn't want to deal with checks. He doesn't have queen e7 now. It was a clever little maneuver. Queen comes in there. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. Yeah, and once f6 goes. Yeah, this way he doesn't have access to c1 with check. If I had gone up with this rook instead, he's got a check on c1, and I can get my king safe. I can get my king safe here, but then he's actually guarding this pawn a second time. I can't admit that I saw that earlier, but okay. Queen takes or rook takes is the question. Queen takes makes sense. Just grab this pawn, and I have ideas of f6. Winning pretty simply. Okay, he wants to get his queen on this diagonal to defend. Have anything fancy here? Well, I need to make sure I guard that rook, for one. Queen here. That forces king f8. I can at least repeat in that case. Yeah, that will force a repetition. Let's see if I have anything better. Gotta watch out for this rook. Can't let that rook hang. Also have to watch out for perpetuals. What about this move? I like the look of that move. Holds on to that f5 pawn. And now I'm also guarding d1, so I'm looking at rook h6 possibly. Ooh. And now f6 is a real threat, it turns out. Okay. f6. Yeah, f6 is a real threat now. I'm just going to double check this. f6, he's going to play queen back, I'm sure. But then I have queen h8. Queen g8 only move. I'm just going to do it. We'll see the finale. Okay. Queen h8. He has to go queen h6. Sorry, queen g8 and now queen h6 will mate. Okay. Wow. I am going to play more Evans Gambits. Trying to diversify a little bit away from my Vienna game. Thank you for the game, Kalyan Surin. I can't rematch right now, but let's look at this. I'm sure I did some things wrong. So let's pull up the opening book. And here we have the Evans Gambit. Not seen very often. Look at this. C3, castles, D3, B4. Okay. It's the fourth most popular move. Now C3. Now after bishop A5, D4 is the most common move. I castled first. Actually, white does better if you castle first. But let me see how this goes. If this is the main line, this is how you're supposed to play the gambit. D4. And then what if knight F6 right away? Then I've got D takes E5. Oh, and this knight gets trapped? Is that the idea? This must be really bad for black. Oh yeah, queen D5. Queen D5, very common Evans Gambit idea, I guess. So D4 probably takes. D6. Takes is the main move. And now I castle. And yeah, you can't take this pawn. Can you? Queen B3. Gonna get that pawn back. Let's see, Queen F6. I think I've seen E5, yeah. I've seen some Anderson games, like the Evergreen game is actually an Evans Gambit. I memorized that once upon a time. I should do that again. Actually likes white here, black here, but okay. So after bishop, my lesson for now in the opening, after bishop a4, which is I believe the main line, yeah, Evans Gambit main line. D4 is the main move. Although castles can't be bad. Knight f6, d4 anyway. d6. Okay, d takes e5 is the usual move here. I went for bishop g5. Oof, not the computer favorite move. But d takes e5. D takes queen b3. That move is more effective when the bishop is on a4 because the knight can't come to a5 rather. Castles, and then bishop a3, even though black's already castled. Oh, of course. And black just gives an exchange. Bishop takes f8. He's got 2 pawns for it. Queen takes f8. And rook e1. Okay, not a balanced game there. Okay, instead, I went for bishop g5. And does like g5 for white here, for black. I thought he wouldn't want to weaken this side that he was going to want to castle on. But this gives black a big advantage. Knight takes e4, and he's going to grab that bishop, isn't he? I can open the game up a little bit. But he can just castle anyway here. D takes e5, and we're looking at queen trades. And that's actually the line given. Just to win one of these pawns back, because the knight has to, either the king gives up this pawn, or the knight gives up this one. Okay, doesn't look very fun for white without the queens on board. Instead, black wanted to castle before weakening that king side. And now that gives me this. And knight b8 is what the computer recommends is better. But after this, yeah, okay, still likes black. Knight h4. I went ahead with this. You should probably just grab the knight, right? You can grab the knight. I need to grab back. Simplifies a little bit, then king h7. And now he's ready for f6, f5, which will threaten to trade queens and also as an important pawn break to get rid of his doubled pawns. So, yeah, that looks good for black. He allowed this check, however. That allowed me to claw back into the game. Although it felt like I had the initiative here. That counts for a lot, right? The computer score of around -1 here is one thing, but it's not the only thing. Let's see. The computer did like queen g4 check. I didn't want to get chased back to the h file after a rook comes to the g file. I didn't want to allow that. So I went here. Computer doesn't like that. Okay, queen c7 here. Oh sure, pinning that. And I went for the peace trade. Now I attack that pawn. Queen b6 is good enough. Queen c7 doesn't cut it. What's the difference? Queen b6 the computer likes. And now can I not take? Ah, queen b2. Sure. That weak b2 point, and I'm losing a rook. Yeah, queen b6, and I need to do something. Probably knight a3. Still likes queen g4 check. Okay, but black played a little too passively. He tried to hit this pawn, and that was what I saw too. I didn't see this weakness. You see the material weaknesses like pawns a lot easier than you see this weakness. Like, what if I get a queen to b2 and then I'm winning a rook? Well, I wouldn't be winning a rook here because I can just play a knight move to connect my rooks, but you get the point. Now I'm equalized. Ooh, and now it likes white because you freed up my one. This bishop is a lot better than this knight, and especially this rook. This rook is just shut out of the game. I mean, I can play maybe a4 and rook lift at some point, but it's not. It's going to take a lot of time, and you get your rooks going as black. Maybe on the H file. Sorry, maybe on the B file, maybe on the G file. So this just freed my game right up, and now it still likes queen g4 right here. I don't see the point of giving these checks. But there is a real point. King h7, rook, then rook a to d1. That allows a rook to the g file with tempo, though. I want to keep my eye on these weaknesses. Queen on h4 does a nice job with that. Queen f3. Oh, it hits the g pawn immediately and threatens some perpetuals. Hits the f pawn, I mean. That would have been an active defense. And what black found instead was this, and this is my trying to defend f6, and this is my favorite maneuver. The queen has no squares to defend f6. My rook is no longer on f6, but now, yeah, rook 7 to d6. That's the maneuver of the game. Nice little pattern to know there, I guess. Never seen it come up before. This kind of rook obstruction. It's a little rook and queen shuffle. I just like looking at it. Okay. Okay, now f6 is falling. And I'm happy with how I played this. Yeah, queen takes h6, and it's mate in 8, according to the computer. Oops, I should have zoomed in for this whole thing. There we go. Queen c2, yeah. Queen g5, check. Rook h6 is what it likes. Oh, sure. And then he's got to play f6, right? Oh, wait, rook h6, though. Rook h6, he gets my... Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even consider this. This is why I ruled that out. But I still would be winning. And actually, it's the quickest mating line. King g2, queen d5, king h3, and there's no more checks. Well, there is. There's queen g2 check. But the real idea is f6. But then queen takes f6. And we're mating like this. The old kill box between the rook and the queen. Okay, well, I didn't see that fantabulous line. This allows him to give up the queen for a rook without immediate mate. But yeah, now... Oh, look, queen h8. King e7, f6. Ah, that was even quicker. But my move worked. He's got king g8. After king g8, where's the mate? Rook 6 to d3. King g8, and we're just using these rooks to get in the queen's way. Oh, that's creative. And now there's no stopping this basic idea, queen here. and then checkmating. And he can give up his queen, and then he can move his rook. But it's mating 5 at the most. So I saw this line, a little more human-ish. Yeah, and then found the mate. Great game, great Evans Gambit game. I am going to continue to play this, study it a little better. I did a chessable course on it once. One of the classic gambits. I've never really played it. So I'm going to start playing knight f3 on move 2 and bishop c4, the Italian. I hope for the Evans Gambit. And if they play the 2 knights, I will go into knight g5 because I just love that opening that much. Mostly from the black side, but it always helps if you know how to play it from the white side. So I'm going to take that philosophy with my chess, learn a couple new openings, learn the Italian game as white. So I'll diversify my portfolio, so to speak. All right, nice feisty opening and a nice mating attack on this. So thanks for watching, everyone. Stay feisty.